Board.
Okay.
I was like, are we recording?
We are
Okay.
now.
Welcome to our governing board meeting on what is today, June 10th. I will call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Sam, if we could get a roll call, please.
Sure. Terry,
Here.
Christine,
Here.
Violetta,
Here.
Angel,
Here.
Gabby, not here, and Ray, not here.
Okay. So we have a quorum. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I have it up. Can you see it?
No. Can you? I don't know. Sorry. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Perfect. Thank you, Sam.
You are welcome.
Okay, so tonight's agenda, the only thing that I found on the agenda, Sam, that I did not catch before is the date of our next meeting is not, in fact, May 13th. It will be sometime in July. I just don't have the date off the top of my head. So that will need to change to the July, what?
It is July. It is July 8th.
So that is, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as written, except for the date of the next meeting being July 8th, 2026.
I
Mhm.
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cool. All right. Approval of the minutes from last time. I did read them through them earlier. I thought they looked good. So I don't have any issues with those. Did anybody else have a chance to read them and look at them?
I didn't see any problems with them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make a motion then to approve the 5/13/2026 meetings as they are written.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Josh is not here quite yet. Man, we gotta have him come like a minute earlier because we roll through these first three. Alexis, do you want to start with the head admin report, and we'll come back to finance? Sorry, I know we're switching things up.
Oh, actually, Josh is here. Sorry.
Oh, perfect.
He's in the
Sorry, I
he's in
can't
the
see
meeting.
everybody.
Sorry.
All right,
yeah.
we'll just do that then.
Meeting room.
Hold off, Alexis.
Oh, there he is. So the whole meeting's a closed session?
No, we
Okay.
just don't have anybody in the audience,
Okay.
which is strange. A nice change from last year, though, around this time when we had 17 meetings.
Oh, I'm supposed to be at an etiquette dinner, so thank y'all.
Oh. We can make sure you use your pinky finger for tea tonight if you'd like.
It's the right fork.
All right, Josh, over to you when you are ready.
Oh, dang, that was quick. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. We
Yeah,
roll through these
it's
first
all right.
couple.
Okay, perfect. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
All right. All right, so here's the bank reconciliation for May. School started off with a balance of 1.6, had receipts of $327,000 roughly, and disbursements of around $797,000. Negative activity for May, to be expected. The SCG dropped in spring, and we're just using our balance at this point to get us through the year, but all to be expected. One thing that does stand out, there's quite a bit of outstanding payments from May, around 63,000 that still have yet to clear. A lot of checks and payments went out at the very last minute at May, and we're just waiting for those to clear. The expected general ledger and general ledger don't match this month, because we have some journal entries that I need you all to approve or disapprove, and I will go over to those journal entries. So here's some movement. This top part here, some movement to the PEC grants. we had some expenses that qualified under the PEC grant to be reimbursed. So we moved those over from operating to the PEC grant to get reimbursements on those. And then we had roughly $12,000 that needed to be moved out of Title One into operating because we were over the Title One allotment that was given to us by the state. So we moved Leslie Jones' salary to operating. All in all JEs add up to $11,713.21. Okay,
Josh, I just have
moving
one
over
question
to,
since I was late to
yep,
the finance meeting yesterday. The
yep,
check that we had talked about in May for that one that was outstanding for like 6 months, did we get that taken care of?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
it was voided. It was actually paid via P card,
Okay.
but we had it under our invoice, so it's paid. So we voided it out of
Perfect.
the check register completely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so here's the check register for May. Some things that will stand out that you'll see is UMB Bank was paid twice. So this first payment was the May payment. This last payment was the June payment. So we essentially just paid a little bit earlier than we usually do, but the school is all paid up in its lease obligations for the year. So that would be the last payment. You won't see it in the June check register. Another high dollar item is the Dustin Sparks amount of $53,993.09. This is essentially going to be one of the last invoices that we receive and last payments that Dustin gets from the school. We went over the 60K amount for the year. So I want to let everyone know that leadership did meet about this because the RFP was not done. If you go over $60,000, you're supposed to go out for bid. That did not occur within a timely manner this year. Leadership met and decided that we would simply just pay off Dustin and not ask him to defer any of the expenses owed by the school and take the finding this particular year because it will be a finding since it is over the $60,000 range.
And just for one more point of clarification for everybody, so we didn't find out we would need an RFP until what was it, March or April?
Late April, yeah,
And so the RFP process takes at least 45 to 60 days to complete, which would have put us basically at the end of June and would given us a huge gap of services and when we actually needed a whole bunch of legal services and support. So that's why we made that decision, knowing that we were going to go into next year and we'll have an audit finding for next year.
Moving on to the P card expenses, a lot of general supplies, materials being purchased. A lot of these items had to do with reimbursements from particular grants. So we're closing up some reimbursements having to do with these expenses, in particular the outdoor grants, which sunsets on the 30th. And then of course payroll and payroll taxes. All in all, the grand total is $865,231.42 for May. Any questions? Okay. I'll move on to the bars. We typically around this time, the PED happens to reconcile their federal funding, so Title I, Title II, Title IV, things like that. When they get the final numbers from the 120th day, 40th day, and 80th day, and they either decrease or increase the allotment that was received around the spring from last year around this time. And this particular Title II in particular decreased due to that reconciliation by $2,220.30. So we decreased the area that was linked to that funding stream with additional compensations to teachers. So that final budget is $6,279.70. And there'll be a couple of them quite like this, of either increase or decrease. Okay, so this one is a pleasant surprise. PED had a hold harmless amount for the school. The school was affected by the new formulaic changes last budget season due to ELL and a hold harmless areas in which the formulaic changed in the SEG. Because of that, PED held some money back and is now giving that out to the schools that are affected by it. Las Cruces being one that is affected by it, and they received the $39,905.70, and that will be going to general supplies and materials and supply assets of $5,000 or less. So extra money that the school didn't expect to receive and really helpful at the end of the year. So we should see this money come in June. Should have came in today, the 10th, but typically June, it takes a little while for SCG to come in. So I'd say within the next 5 to 10 days, we'll see that bump in SCG. All right, next one. This is an increase in Title I, so due to that reconciliation by PED, they determined that the school should receive a bump in $4,108.32, and this will be going to instructional assistant salaries. And we have one more, and this is an increase as well in Title IV of $657.13. That'll be going to teachers' salaries associated with Title IV. And that is all for the bars, reconciliation, and check register and journal entries. Open for questions. You don't have any?
No questions from me because I assume you're going to address all of my questions on your actual presentation with where we're at compared to where we thought we were going to be.
Yep.
So I am then going to make a motion, if nobody else has any questions, to approve the May 2026 check register, journal entries, bank reconciliation, and bars 581-000-2526. Make sure these are right, Josh. 0031D, 0032I, 0033I, and 0037I.
Perfect.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay, Sam, if we could get a roll call, please.
You bet. Angel,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
and Christine.
Yes.
Your motion carries.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, please continue, Josh.
Sure. Okay, so what you were waiting for, Angel, is how that extra money affects us. So there was that SCG increase, and Title I, Title IV increases, decreases in contributions and donations, not much, just what I anticipate the school to receive. And since it's the end of the school year, I can't imagine there's going to be much donations or contributions coming in. And then a slight decrease of USDA just based on the average that the school has been receiving the past couple of months. So yeah, an increase around $30,000 at this point in time. The expenses, there's increases due to the attorney fees that we didn't foresee the school receipt or having to pay at the beginning of the year and the past couple of months. Advertising consulting fees were a lot higher than we anticipated there as well, with the continuation of the marketing firm till the end of the year. But there is a decrease in expenses and compensation of benefits due to some people leaving and supplies due to Alexis being so good at not buying supplies at the end of the year and saving us some money. So yeah, for Alexis, I know it's hard. But all in all, a solid fund balance around where we expected we would be. So that extra money came in and it went. So it came in at the right time, and we're still around the same fund balance that we expected it to be at. So
Awesome. So I do have one additional question before we move on. So remember how this year the PEC or the PED had put that additional hold on funds for us? I don't remember the exact amount. Is that only for this school year? Do we have to apply to have that removed? Does it just stay on until they say it's
So
good?
they lowered it to around 200,000
Okay.
this year. So it was like 400,000 last
Right.
year. They still want that like restricted amount, but it's
Okay.
built into the full balance. So it's built into the budget of
Okay.
like what we can spend. So,
Okay. All right. I just wanted to
um,
make sure.
so, so yeah, it's still there, unfortunately, but
That's all right. We'll
this
keep
time
proving
next year,
ourselves.
hopefully they won't
We'll
be.
be, yeah,
Right.
we'll be fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get there.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, so here's the cash flow for the remainder of the year. And remember, the compensation employee benefits are quite high just because there is a double payment to all employees that have a 10-month contract. And then we pay them out essentially 4 times in June for their July payments, which will see the cash flow lower around there. And then tidying up any extra expenses for the school, and then some extra reimbursements that haven't come in, but the POs have been raised on the PED side, so we're able to completely um, submit all reimbursements by July 5th. So we're expecting most of those to come in June, but if not, we'll see them come in July. Here's the graph of what the cash flow looks like. Here's when the SCG lowered in the spring, and still around $1 million to carry over to FY26. So we still have a strong cash balance, strong cash flow at this point. The budget was submitted. We're waiting for PED to fully do their analysis in order for it to be accepted. We're still in constant contact with them of whatever changes that they may see or need or backup documentation that they need. But as far as the board is concerned, you guys did all you needed to do, sign that document, approved it, it's in the minutes, so we should be good to go, and we're getting close to being done with that submission process. As far as the next 30 days, we need all invoices to be submitted by the 15th that have to do to FY26. I know some things will probably squeak in at the end of the year, which is fine, but we want to get ahead of it as much as possible and be completely paid up. Then we'll be able to close FY26 and then begin FY27.
Awesome. This makes me feel much better than the briefing that I got last June. So great job to everybody.
Yeah.
Working really hard. So and
Yeah.
I know.
Last,
Go
I
ahead.
wanted a bag over my head, so yeah.
Josh is,
I mean, you said no one was in the audience, so
True.
that should say enough right there.
There you go.
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody's concerned anymore. It's great.
No one's concerned. Yeah.
is there like a dark period, like June 15th to July 1? That's like our dark period. We can't spend any money during that time.
You still can. It just would be helpful to not, just so we can close the month kind of cleanly. The least amount of AP that we have is the least amount of mistakes that the auditors can find at that point in time if anything does slip through. Because again, there's no like material threshold in New Mexico, so even $2 sneaks by and we don't report it to them, then it's a finding right there. So.
Okay.
Do you need something urgently?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure because I like details and
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Yeah. And there's always going to be, of course, like utilities and stuff like that, which will come in whenever it comes in. And we're like, well versed in those type of things, but it's a little kind of like the small purchases that may come here and there that, they're a little bit more difficult or to get them paid by June 30th is being the key.
Yep. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the finance stuff? Okay, I know there was one more action item, Josh, to have a board member who is around and available to approve bars kind of ad hoc. And then we'll still approve all the bars as normal in July, but this is just so we can get everything submitted before the end of the year. So I'm gonna volunteer to be that person to do the bar approvals between now and July, knowing that they'll all still go through the board process in July. So I don't know if I can make a motion to put myself in there. But we did talk in our finance meeting about having a primary and an alternate. Terry, are you still willing to be the alternate? Okay. So if somebody could make a motion to have me be the primary bar approver and then Terry as the alternate, and then we can do a quick vote.
Okay, I motion that Angel be the primary on any bar items that come through our account in the month of June into July, and Terry be the second should she not be available.
And I second that.
Okay. And since it's money, Sam, let's do a roll call real quick.
Angel,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
your motion carries.
Perfect. Awesome. So we should be good, Josh. Feel free to reach out whenever you need something.
Great. Thank you.
And we will keep in touch. Thank you for all your hard work this year. We have finished
I
out way
appreciate it.
better.
Yeah.
Yep. Good things. Good things.
Thank you, Josh.
Cool.
Appreciate you all.
Yep. You got it. All right, Alexis, over to you.
I have to look at the agenda to make sure I'm hitting all the points. So currently, just to be honest, I have not enrolled anybody in about a week and a half just because I just ran out of time. But as of 2 Saturdays ago, our enrollment was at 429. So we have been slowly adding middle school kids. I went ahead and bumped all the elementary classes to 36. And then looking at the applications, I have 5 more middle school kids on the list having applied. So that puts us, if I can math right, at 434.
Just point of clarification, you put the grade bands at 36, not each class at
Oh, yeah.
36.
My bad. Yes. The grade bands are at
I
36.
saw Christine's face and I was like, wait.
Yeah. No. My bad. So it'll be classes of 18 each. So there's one grade that's 37 because we had a little miscommunication with a parent and she was like, wait, I want to keep my kid. And I was like, I've already sent your spot away, but you're nice enough. We'll let your kid stay. So so that actually puts us where we want to be at each grade band. So at this point, moving forward, all middle school kids will be waitlisted. And I honestly, even though they're going to go on the wait list, I'm going to tell people there's a pretty high likelihood that you're going to get in because we're going to have some people who don't show up in those first couple of weeks. And so we'll just keep enrolling and trying to get those numbers up. I'm pretty happy with that. I think for sure that the marketing piece helped. So I think it was worth it on that end. My big worry right now is just making sure that people actually show up. And we are kind of in a weird spot because we are also moving over to Synergy and how do I say this? Our dead time starts on Friday. So from June 11th to July 6th, we can't make any changes in PowerSchool because we're asking for a backup and then we're going to be going live with Synergy in July. So really, we can't have people update their documents for this whole period of time because their documents aren't going anywhere. So we're going to kind of have to take about 3.5 weeks off to kind of just sit around. And then when we come back in July, we'll be hard pressed to make sure everybody gets all their documents turned in. But most people have experience with Synergy because they're LCPS parents. So hopefully that process will be pretty easy. So enrollment wise, we're pretty solid. I'm excited. Questions about enrollment?
Are we I know we're maxed out pretty much for middle school too, but are we gonna do any more information nights or other types of nights just to stock the wait list a little bit more?
Yes, I do have one. I had one scheduled tonight, actually. Oops, kind of double booked myself. I have one, I believe. Let me look at my calendar. I have one scheduled on the 24th. So we'll do that one again. And I'm not going to lie, but posting in Las Cruces Supermoms also gets us a lot of traction as well. So, and I put it in the community page too. So that helps. Hopefully nobody's at the building today wondering why I'm not there, but.
Perfect.
Oops. So that's kind of where we're at on enrollment.
Okay. No more questions. I'm happy with this.
All right. Staffing update. So, I don't know how to put this, but there were some positions that needed to be filled. Um, I have actually extended an invitation to one person for third grade hum. We are trying to decide between two for fifth grade hum. Um, and then we had a Spanish teacher who was supporting our L's, but Spanish is not really like a hot ticket item with us. The class doesn't really fill up. So I have four people on campus who are TESOL endorsed. And so I've asked one of them if she would be willing to let me pay her a stipend to support elementary TESOL. And then we can fold in the middle school, my bad, elementary L's. Then we can fold in the middle school L's into a regular flex. We're talking like 8 kids. So it's not a significant number. And then I can hire a PE teacher so that we have a full-time middle school PE teacher and a full-time elementary PE teacher. And it helps us be a little more flexible in our elementary schedule. Our elementary schedule is super tight, like down to the minute. There's no overlap because that PE teacher had to go to middle school and do middle school. So once I can get that middle school PE teacher hired, get them health certified, and then we can start offering health for high school credit as well. So some things kind of like working on. And then I get to hire 3 EAs because we did lose a significant number of EAs, but currently we only interviewed one. I offered her the job today. We have 2 more tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But there's not a lot of applicants on the sheet for EAs. So fingers crossed. But we lost our music EA for elementary. And so trying to figure out like what other specials can we offer at the elementary school that EAs can do. So we have some work to do on that part.
Yep.
All right. Any questions about staffing?
I have a question, Ms. Alexis. So
Yes.
what is the reason you said that we lost a lot of EAs, this year?
So one just didn't want to come back. He was having some things happen in his life. One moved, and actually the other one moved back to like Malaysia to be with his wife. So mostly it was moving.
Oh,
And then
okay.
our fourth EA is actually, she was an ed fellow and she's moving into student teaching. So she's not available to us as an EA anymore.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other staffing questions? All right. And then my assessment. So one of the things that we're changing for next year is in the past at middle school, we started off with a really big flex. So every student gets a flex. And we had them all in one room. We actually didn't do that with 6th graders this year because of numbers, but we started with 7th and 8th. But we very quickly realized that it's actually better if they have flex with their grade level teachers. So midway through the year, we moved 7th grade that way. So we increased class sizes a little bit, not a lot. We're talking like between 13 to 15. And so 7th grade kids had flex with their grade level teachers, and only 8th graders, due to numbers, had flex with an EA. Next year, we want to just put everybody with a flex with their grade level teachers. The grade level teachers felt that was a much better use of flex time because they could communicate between all 4 core teachers and be like, this student needs this. I mean, they had like elaborate spreadsheets going, and they were sending out like the parent communication was impressive. So when we were kind of looking at first, when we're like, oh no, we're not going to have a lot of EAs, we don't want to put 60 kids in a room with one person. So can we just move back, keep everybody with a grade level team? So this next year, we capped the middle school grade levels at 70 so that class sizes are between 16 and 18. We have a couple at 19, I'm not going to lie, but every kid will have a flex with a grade level teacher. And we really feel like that's a much better use of our staff and students' time. That leads me to, we're going to talk about our assessment data, but as we look at this, remind me in case I forget to talk to you about the things we want to do differently when it comes to testing next year. So let me see if I can remember how to do this.
Are you able to share? If you need me to change it, let me know.
No, I think I can. I'm used to Google and I get confused. So for grade 3, and this is going to be kind of dull. I apologize. I don't know how to make it I was trying to figure out how to make it easier to visualize and I couldn't figure it out. So we're just going to go with a good old bar graph. But you can see here for third grade reading, beginning of the year, we had 58% that were needing support. But remember, this is the very first time that they've taken this test. So I'm not surprised that the numbers are not great at third grade because they've never seen this test before in their lives. But you can see we kind of moved from the kids who need support went from 58 to 50. The kids who were on target went from 18 to 41. So we're seeing some growth there. With language usage, we're kind of a little bit, definitely the green areas of on target are growing, but need support and what is it? Nearing target. Those ones are kind of fluctuating a little bit. This is going to be so dull. I apologize because this is only grade 3 and we got to go all the way through grade 8. Grade 8 math, it's definitely a struggle. You can see that at the beginning of the year, 88% were need support, but we got it down to 59. We didn't see a lot of growth for on target. In grade 4 reading, we see definitely a decrease between need support beginning to end and on target increase from 20 to 46. So definitely growth there. For language usage, once again, definitely seeing growth in our on target students. And for math, like we started, this is like one kid. That's why it doesn't have a number because it's not big enough to support a number. We went from like one kid to 31. So some serious growth in 4th grade math. So big shout out to Miss Gutierrez there and the kids. For 5th grade reading, oops, hold please. 5th grade reading, they kind of back and forth, you know, not a super lot of growth, but we kind of stayed steady there. For language usage, once again, we kind of see them start off strong. We are a little weak in the middle, kind of recover a little bit. And the language usage test is all multiple choice, and the kids tend to click through it pretty quickly. So that is a little bit of a struggle there. For 5th grade math, you can see we have some definite, we went from 38% needing support to 24, 29% on target to 35. So we see some growth. Not as much as we saw in 4th grade, but definitely some growth. For 6th grade, and this is where we had a whole conversation in 6th grade, or my bad, in middle school about how do we, I guess, sell the test, because in years past, there was never a conversation about why we took the test. And so we started kind of that conversation in December about why this test is important, not because it tells us anything about your intelligence, but rather it tells us what areas that you might need more help in, and we can focus our instruction in those areas. So I think we did a really good job of selling that in December, but it's something we need to work on throughout the year. It's not just like a one and done thing. So constantly having that conversation. So I think that's why we don't really see a lot of change, excuse me, between BOY and EOY here in grade 6. And middle school kids are a little prickly. So in language, we kind of see a little bit of growth from 38 to 42, but a lot of kids are still kind of sitting there in the middle. For math, once again, they did really good in December, right? Like we get 41% on target, but we fall off at the end of the year. And this is the 4th state test that they take at this point in May. So just how do we kind of keep that resilience up throughout the year? For grade 7 reading, we can see a definite increase from 22 on target to 41% on target. Our need support went from 31 to 16. For language, we're a little stagnant. We're kind of going back and forth. For math, it just, they're kind of all over the place. We definitely see some growth, but then they're not holding it all year. And then for 8th grade reading, definitely see some improvement. Our needs support has gone from 59. I mean, at mid-year, they were at 44, which is great. They climbed back up to 54, but our on targets went from 21 to 30. So we're seeing a little bit of growth there. For language, once again, middle of the year did better than end of the year. And for math, kind of the same piece. So as a team, we had a discussion about this. And one of the things that we did this year for testing in science was instead of pulling, so let me back up. When we do these tests, we run a modified schedule. We put kids in testing rooms, not necessarily with their grade level teachers. And we test for 2 hours in the morning for 2 days. And what we are seeing is the kids don't really have a lot of stamina for the test and tend to click through, especially on that second day or the second part of math. So we decided let's try something different for the science test. And I don't have those scores, just to be clear. But we were like, we're only going to test eighth graders and fifth graders in their science class with their science teacher. And both the staff and the students reported much more buy-in on that test because they were with their teacher who taught them that subject. So what we're looking at next year is that when we are doing this testing, that when they do math, they're going to do math with their math teacher. And it's going to take us longer, but we have a full month-long window to do this. But we think that being with the teacher and having that conversation about why we think this is important and taking our time and being just in that same setting, we're really hoping to kind of get more buy-in. We also are looking at creating an incentive program that's going to run all year that is celebrating any growth that students have on these tests. And so they're earning tickets or prizes for our raffle towards the end of the year. So that we're not just celebrating the students who are on target from the beginning, but that we're also celebrating any growth that kids make throughout the year. So we're really hoping that this is going to help us kind of see an increase in test scores because I don't honestly think that it's all a skill issue. I really think it's just a buy-in issue. So how do we get the students to buy into this and so we get the data that we need? So that's kind of what our plan is for next year. Questions?
What assessment was this, a Mira, or what test is this?
Oh, my bad. This is iMesa.
IMESA. Okay. And you said that it was by the time we took it, so it's our the one that we use in-house, our school one to measure BOI, MOI, and EOI. Okay.
Yeah.
So and it was the fourth one. You're saying by the end of the year, it would have been the fourth test that they took?
It was the fourth test for most of them. It was the fifth test for eighth graders.
Wow. Within
Yeah.
what time frame? We're starting in March or with Access? What are we talking about?
So in September, they took BOI. In December, they took MOI. For some kids, Access happened at the end of February, but we don't have a lot of kids who test Access. I think it was about 15. Then I'm trying to remember, we did ASR right at the end of March. Then we did MSSA in the middle of April. And then we did the last iMesa at the beginning of May. So that kind of March, April, May is like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I mean, definitely you can see, like you said, if it's not a lot of growth is growth, even if it's not a huge, it's still good. And, it's good to see that. So thank you, Miss Alexis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just say I'm super proud of our kiddos. They have shown growth, no matter how big or small. And I really appreciate all the staff trying to brainstorm ideas to help make it better in the future, less cumbersome, I guess, for students, and to get their buy-in. I think that will be a huge thing.
Because it's hard, right? If the kids don't see a point to it, then they're not going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
And so, so it's like this fine balance of I don't want to like stress them out about it, but I need them to understand that we do actually look at that data and then make instructional decisions from that. And so if you're going to just blow through the test and not take it seriously, then it makes it really hard for your teachers to figure out what they need to do to help you. So.
And I'm hoping with, our math lab getting up and going, we'll see some more increase in math scores next year as we tailor a lot more of that support to math. I'm still looking for a reading one, literacy one. I haven't found another one yet, but we'll keep looking.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anybody else have questions? No? Awesome. Well, this was a good update. Thank you, Alexis. I do think we're really going in a good direction and should have you to thank. So thank you. Okay, I think the next is governing council business. So I will read what's on here and give you a time. But when we come back out of the session, Christine, I'm gonna have to have you parrot whatever Sam sends you, because I'm operating off my phone and I can't read that and look at text message, etc. But this is on a piece of paper, so I'll read this. So the board is going to go into a closed session at 6:42. An executive session pursuant of 10:15 1H2 for limited personnel matters related to the head administrator contract for school year 26-27, and an update on a grievance related to the head administrator. So Sam, if you wouldn't mind sending us all away for a little bit.
Oh, we need to do a first and a
Oh.
second and a
That's right. Consent.
stuff.
Did I didn't even motion to do that. Did I make a motion to do what I just said? Can I say that?
Second,
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Okay, thank you. Thanks for keeping us on track, Sam.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna put you in your little breakout room now.
thanks, compliance officer.
And manually create, sign. Is it just the board?
Yes, because we're gonna talk about
Alexis
Alexis's
can come.
contract, and then let's bring her in after that. I will text you, or Sam will text you to bring Alexis in after that.
Yeah, just text me when you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open the room. Did it work? Did it do anything? Oh, good.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, it's doing something.
They're disappearing, so something's
They're
happening.
just disappearing. Hi. Well, I'm gonna go let my dog in. I'll BRB.
I'll be here.
Hey, Alexis, are you there? They've asked for me to send you in, so I'm gonna do that right now.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
And boop,
Thank you.
welcome.
I was so worried we had to get out and come back in.
No, that's why we do this kind.
Oh, we lost Terry. Where's Terry?
Did he click the wrong button? Oh no. Keep an eye out for him. He'll be back.
There he is.
There he is.
Yes. You made
Yay!
it.
All right, we are now reconvening in open session at 7:10 on my clock. I will now state for the record that all matters discussed during executive session were related to the limited personnel matters referenced in our agenda. No action was taken and no other matters were discussed during that time. I will now ask for a roll call vote to affirm this statement.
Angel,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
your statement has been affirmed.
Yay. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Let's move on then. Thank you, Christine, for reading that. Actions coming out of the executive session. So we talked about the head administrator contract. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the head administrator contract for school year 26-27, as well as keeping Alexis as the head administrator for the next school year.
Yes, and I second that.
All right. Sam, can we do a roll call on this one? This feels important.
Sure. Angel,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Christine.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Alexis, I have your contract already, so I will get it to you tonight or tomorrow for you to read over. Okay. And then the action resulting from the written investigative report. So we discussed the report at length. We agree with the findings that were in the report. So, Sam, do I just make a motion that we all agree with the findings? And no
Yes.
further action will be taken?
Yes.
Okay, that was my motion.
Second.
All right, let's do a roll call real quick.
Angel,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Christine.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I will take care of the follow-on actions for that. Okay, now next thing is the governing board self-assessment. Sam, you and I sort of talked about this today, I think. But we haven't actually done the assessment yet. So what I would like to do is not do anything with this right now. I would like to save this for next month, and postpone it for next month so that we can send out a questionnaire, probably the same one we use next year, unless Sam has a better one. Sorry, last year, unless Sam has a better one. And then next month we can actually discuss what's in those questionnaires to make sure we're all on the same page, and then we can finalize it then. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
Sam.
Oh, just if you want, I don't know where it lives. If you want me to look at it and make some recommendations,
Yes.
I'm happy to do that. I just need to know where it lives.
I think it's just in my email. I don't think it's in the folder, so I will get it and send it to you.
There you have it then. Perfect.
Yep, I will. I'll take that. Hang on. Let me finish my half thought here. Okay, awesome. So we'll table that. The OMA resolution for school year 26-27. Sam, can you explain that to the group real quick?
I sure can. And so it's in the folder and I'm happy to pull it up. Actually, that probably makes more sense, huh?
Yes, please.
But if you ask me if I'm prepared to do that right now,
It's okay.
it'll just take me 1 second to find it. Okay.
At least it only takes you a second. It takes me a while to find anything.
I was just like click, 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 click. Okay. So per the Open Meetings Act, the reason the school is allowed to post within a 72-hour period is because it adopts a resolution annually that identifies the time, place, frequency of your open meeting.
Mhm.
And in exchange for adopting that resolution, you are allowed to post within 72 hours. If you did not have a resolution, you would have to post 10 days before your meeting, which that would be tough.
Yeah.
And so the Open Meetings Act resolution, I believe this is the same one you used last year. I just have put things in red that need to be changed. Just goes through the section of statute that outlines the Open Meetings Act, um, you know, what it constitutes as reasonable notice to the public, and you'll have to decide the location of your meeting. I will strongly encourage um, some form of a hybrid format for the upcoming school year. Because it's important. And so I would strongly suggest that. And so you can discuss that. And then I believe you're the second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. If you would like to keep that, I am happy to plug that in here.
Can we add mountain time in there? I've been wondering about this.
Oh yeah, of course, we can put Mountain Time for
Can
sure.
we add that it's a certain time zone at that time?
Yeah.
Yes, we sure can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can absolutely. So, I mean, I could do that right now. So it'd be the
And do we want to keep Wednesdays?
So does Wednesday work for everybody? I mean,
It
They
only
do
didn't
for
work that
me.
one time. It only didn't work the one time.
Yeah.
Is it Mountain Standard or Mountain Daylight?
MST.
I would just write Mountain Time, just write it out,
Yeah,
because then you
just
don't have to
MT.
worry about daylight or standard.
You got it.
Okay.
Can I just say Wednesdays is better because I teach at the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
Okay. Wednesdays it is then.
Okay. You teach at the gym? Okay.
She just pound class.
Really?
Wow.
So, location. So if we're gonna start doing a hybrid, and I know we talked about this a little bit last year, and we never just quite got around to doing it. I would like to do it this year so we could technically, if people can make it, can do it in person.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we will have a webcast. Any objection to having it at the school? Seems like except you, Terry. Sorry. Unless you come into town. But
And
you're always
Violetta,
welcome.
she lives in Deming.
Not on
Oh,
the
yeah.
calendar yet. Not on the
I-
calendar yet.
I work in Deming, but I commute from Las Cruces to Deming.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you were to come in person, would 6 p.m. still work for that if you came in person?
It would, it would, make it tight, I get home about 5:30. So would we have the option of doing logging in Zoom? Like, would I
Yes.
have the option of
yeah,
logging in? Okay.
Yeah, I think we should. Sam, does this work? Strive to have at least one board member at the physical location. Alexis, if you're able to, great.
yeah, I think that's right.
Is that sufficient, or do we actually have to have preponderance of people?
No, I think it has to just be a place that the public can
Attend.
attend.
We can have watch parties.
Yes.
But Dave,
Yeah.
I'm
They
sorry.
can have a watch party. And the other thing is that there's going to be some tech involved.
But we could, depending on how many, we could technically have it, Alexis, I'm going to volunteer your office because you have that big screen in there. Or we could maybe put it in the library or some other just.
we have a projector in building 4. So like we can project it up there. We have a speaker system in building 4. It's the hard part is getting
A
people
microphone.
on camera.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. But
I'd
that's
rather just use one of the math lab TVs or whatever, something like that. That's like
We
in your
could have
office.
we could have a computer open and no one on it unless they wanted to make a public comment. They could come on to the only challenge with it is closed sessions, which thank God we haven't had that many this year. But in closed session, you have to have everyone leave and so yeah.
and there are classrooms in
You'd
building
have to have
4.
you'd have to have a second room, right? You'd have to have another
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
And I have to ask this too on the technology part. Wouldn't the people attending also still have to continue to Zoom? No?
No, they'd be allowed to come in person.
No, I know that. I know that they
But-
would, but they wouldn't still, would we have less access of us that are Zoom?
You have to do both. Does that, I think, is that what you're asking?
That's what I'm saying. They
Mhm.
would have to do both also.
Well, they wouldn't have to because they're not required to come. We're required to be there.
But if they wanted to speak, you would have to have a laptop available for them to walk up to or, yeah,
Oh, okay, one at a time. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it still wouldn't be like a free-for-all discussion. They would still get their public comment time that they can do their 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And we can keep it pretty orderly, potentially, hopefully.
That's kind of why we didn't do it last year was there were still so many hurt feelings. We were a little
Yeah.
concerned about safety for people.
So let's put it tentatively at the school if you're okay with that, Alexis, and we will nail down a better time, format, technology issues before. Do we need to start in July, Sam, or can we start when school starts?
I mean, I'm not gonna do.
All right, so we'll start in August at the school as a hybrid to give people the option.
Are you looking at 8:40? The
8:40.
address, Sam, I'm looking at your document. Are you and
Oh.
Zoom.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I was just, yeah, because it'll
I'm
be,
praying about
shall be held hybrid. At school address and Zoom. And I have to fill in the
Mhm.
physical address and put the
Okay.
little link in there, and there's all sorts of little things and stuff. And then the rest of it, it's just like where your notice will be, and it will be on your
Mhm.
school website. So I'll put the link to the folder there. And then same thing for here. And then, it talks about special meetings, which you've had to have before. It's all the same. You can call a meeting whenever you want. You have to give the public reasonable notice, and that is constituted as 72 hours. Emergency meetings, the long and the short of it is, from what I've been told by the lawyer that I work for, is there's nothing that he has ever heard of that constitutes an emergency meeting, so don't do it.
Perfect.
Because if you do call one, even if you believe it to be an emergency, you have to notify the Attorney General within 10 days, and then they basically decide if it was an emergency or not. So there's that. And then copies of the written notice of meeting shall also be emailed to those broadcast stations licensed by the federal. Well, we don't do any of that, so I don't know. And then a
Are we
member,
supposed to?
I have never heard that.
Can we check with Dan?
I sure am.
Okay.
And then oh. This is only if they have made a written request for
Oh.
notice of public meetings. I was like, I
Got it.
need to read that again.
Yeah.
So if
We
they
don't have
make
any
a
problem.
request, then we have a the royal we have a responsibility to provide that.
Okay.
And then this is the teleconference, which basically gives you the equivalent in 2026 is hybrid, right? Nobody teleconferences anymore, but we do have Zoom.
Right.
And we know this, you may only close the meeting if it is a area that is deemed appropriate to close a meeting, such as limited personnel matters. And then, just identifies what needs to happen in a closed meeting, which you already know. And so if everyone is okay with this, you can adopt it, and I will fill in the pieces, and you will continue to meet on the second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And I will fill in the school address in Zoom and the school website.
Okay. I will make a motion then to approve the Open Meetings Act resolution for our board for school year 26-27.
I'll second it.
Okay. Sam, roll call, please.
Christine,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
your motion carries.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll let you do that, Sam. Next on the list is governing council training hours. We're still missing hours from Gabby. I did touch base with her a couple days ago. She is going to work on it this weekend, is what she told me. So we will follow up with her next week because it has to get done before the end of June. Otherwise, the board will get dinged for compliance. So I don't think we need to pull up the tracker since everybody else is complete, but working on that. Okay. Contracts. So Christine and Ray put in a bunch of work for contracts, gathering a whole bunch of the different ones. There are a few on this list that do not meet the 60,000 threshold where the governing board has to vote on it. So we could technically review them if you wanted to. Otherwise, they are in the folder for you to look at if you'd like. And those are the Charter Testing Solutions and the DMH Law. The two contracts, one is for Sam and one is for Dan Hill for lawyer representation for a fixed fee. So if we can, let's start. Christine, I don't know if you want to give a brief overview of any of the contracts. And we can have, I don't know if you want to pull them up or just talk about them.
Here, I can pull them up.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
let's start with Herrera.
I was pulling them up on my other computer. I'm like, well, that's crazy.
Okay, well, no, I'll wait and hold my comment for that one.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask about Fred's contract, but I think I have to wait since it's not on our agenda. I'll put it under board comments.
I can't find it. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. We put it under contracts. And no. Sorry, y'all.
You're good.
I've been in a dorm room, as you can tell, with terrible beds for 3 days.
For you.
I know, in Portales, New Mexico.
Ooh, fun. Lots of cows and lots of trains.
Yeah, the kids are great, though. The kids are
Good.
good. Okay, share. Yeah, one of the girls said, the train woke me up at midnight.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Yes,
lived in
they do.
Clovis for a year, and there was always trains coming through.
Yeah. Well, there's always Walmart, so we got a Walmart.
Also,
Okay, so you can see our list here. This is a proposal for marketing and communication from Clara Rayleigh. It does not meet the threshold, so that can be reviewed at another time. So the ones that do are the Genuine Foods contract agreement. This is the contract for the fixed meal price. This is the meal services. It's in the Google Drive folder if you want to look at the same document. You should have access. And I don't believe the contract changed. So they'll provide breakfast and lunch at a fixed price. We do get NMIPSA money from NMSA money back for food from the federal program. Where's the total?
I don't know if there was a total because a lot of it was reimbursable.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much we buy and spend, and,
Okay.
and then they add a fee on the
Annual
top of that.
contracts 25,000 or more provide. Contracts over 100,000 provide. Yeah, because so it's reimbursable because of the Title I schools by the federal government. So and the state. Here's the contract we might want to look at. This is Axiom, who are our.
Okay, hang on, real quick.
What?
Any questions on the food services one
sorry.
before we just move on? I don't have any questions. It was straightforward. I mean, we were happy with their services this last year. I think we even had a meeting with them Friday.
Yeah,
So.
we even we have a meeting with them Friday, but we have a revenue stream from them. They use our facilities to provide food for La Semilla, and they pay us a fee each month as part of their food service contract. So they're actually really good people.
And we're helping out other charter schools in the area for their hot meals too, which is
Yeah.
great and win for
Yeah.
everyone. So,
Mhm. Any questions? Sorry. Okay.
Sam, do we have to vote on these separately, or do we do them all as a group?
I mean, I think I'd probably vote on them separately.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So I'll make a motion then to adopt the Genuine Food Service contract as written for the school year 26-27.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, wait, this has money. Roll call, please, Sam. Sorry.
Sure. Christine?
Yes.
Angel?
Yes.
Violetta?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Okay. One down. All right. Continue, Christine. Next goes to
Okay.
Axiom.
Next one is Axiom. This one includes, well, I guess we're gonna take the one with capital outlay and the grants just because it was beneficial enough to us for some parts of it.
So,
This
and
is the exact same contract, right?
I
Go
believe
ahead.
so. And I did want to add one little bit to that is so I was actually talking to Sam earlier, and Sam can do our title funding. So she is going to add that to her contract for a cheaper rate. And so because the title funding was what we utilized most in the grant area, my recommendation is to forego the grant section of this, which was $10,000, but keep the capital outlay portion of this, which is also $10,000, that is then added to this contract. I did talk to Josh earlier, and he said as long as that is noted in the meeting minutes, that Axiom can accommodate that, even though we don't have a specific contract that is for capital outlay, but no grants.
So these grants, these other grants, not the ones with the title, this is something that's going to be done by the staff. There's going to be a.
So I've done a lot of the grants, but I have been working with a ton of the staff members for various grants to apply for different ones. I think that's fine for for this next year as we continue to build up our funding reserves. We'll keep Axiom as a business management partner. But I do think it is absolutely worth keeping the capital outlay portion of this because one, I don't know anything about capital outlay, and it's pretty extensive if we are to get awarded any capital outlay funding. It's not
I was just curious about whether there's going to be oversight, not us, but would Alexis be, open to having somebody in the school, not have to do the grant, not assigned to the grant, just coordinating, that there's not two people doing the same grant or.
So we have a spreadsheet out there that I think most of the staff is familiar with, if not me, Alexis, Sabrina, and several of the other administrative staff, that outlines all of the grants that we're applying for and working on. So there shouldn't be any duplicate grant efforts at that point for what we're working on. But the staff have really been the ones once we are awarded a grant, like the Math Lab grant or the Outdoor Learning grant, they've really taken a lot of that and run with it. So my part has really just been putting together the grant and submitting it. And then the staff has done a lot of the hard work. And I've tried to write in stipends for all of the grants that we've been able to be awarded because I know it does come with extra work.
Well, I mean, how about, you mentioned earlier about finding the literacy workshop grant.
Yeah.
So is that all on you?
Yeah, I mean, Alexis and I have talked, and the teachers have recommended grants as well as they've found them, and they'll kick them over to me, and I'll take a look at them, and see if it's something we can apply for that we qualify for. So I don't mind doing that because that is within my wheelhouse, and I do have the bandwidth to do some grants, not all the grants, but some grants. And so I just am not sure that the grant services would be worth the $10,000.
No, I agree with that part. I was just, wanted to know that if a teacher found one, then they
Yes,
would
absolutely.
notify that they would know who to notify.
Yeah.
Then they would be told whether or not, asked if they wanted to do the grant or they wanted help from you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there was not.
There's a lot of collaboration.
I don't want to turn this into a mud pool here. I just want to make sure that there's going to be some. I'm just asking. I'm not. I just want to make sure that there's some procedure policy Nothing in writing, doesn't have to go in the staff handbook, any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Just
and
a general understanding,
yeah. And we sent out a few emails last school year just reminding the teachers, hey, if you're out looking for grants for XYZ, then get with Angel or get whatever that looks like, and we'll collaborate and see what we can come up with. So
that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
so this includes all the services we currently get minus the grants then, but this one does not have capital outlay on it. The other one had both, but capital outlay was for $10,000. So our total then would be $121,697 for the Axiom services.
So here's the contract with the capital, just so you see the difference in the numbers. Grant support, capital outlay. We could take the grant support off and keep the capital outlay. So
that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, so they could send us another contract, but would we, so
once we vote on it, we'll just let Josh know that that's what we voted on, and he can get with Katie and send over the updated contract.
That's what I was just trying to say. Should we make a motion that we want this contract minus the grant support?
We're making a motion. We want this particular contract less the grant support.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Did you make that motion, Terry?
I think I just did. Somebody back me up here.
Since you're on the finance committee, yes, I will second that one.
All right, roll call, Sam.
Justine.
Yes.
Angel.
Yes.
Violetta.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Your motion carries.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay. So that's Axiom. This one I just got well, you can see I uploaded at 5:10. I got it about 4:20.
So
and it's
this one doesn't meet the cap though. So let's save this one for another day.
And it's
actually, I think, did you look at it?
No, but it's also not on the agenda, so we can't talk about it here.
Not on the agenda, we can't talk about it. Charter school doesn't meet the cap, and then here is our transportation contract. Ray worked on this one with Jaime to try to help them understand our need for the things that we require in it, like for the bus, the camera and working audio, and the app that tracks buses. They were
Is that in here?
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because I did read through it earlier, and maybe I skimmed over a small section of it and didn't see that, but I did read through it and didn't see that.
To put in there, and then Ray contacted Jaime, and I don't know what they talked about, but we do
because I want to make sure those are in there before we sign a contract.
Yeah. They basically are the best transportation option in Las Cruces for our school. And their total, and we also, their fees are technically covered by transportation support from the state, but this is what the contract is. Based on legislative appropriations. So yes, you're reading that correctly. 525,375 for transportation, liability, gas, and they're supposed to. We do have a statement signed by Dr. Hull, then they agreed to put the GPS and the video in the buses, but it's not. I don't see it on here, so I'll contact them and say, did you send me the right contract?
Okay. Can we table this one then? Because I don't want to vote on this one if it's not in there. Go ahead, Alexis. Is it in there?
I also think we need to revisit the days because we had to change the calendar and these term break days. I'm not sure 197 is correct. I'm doing the math in my head, which is always a mistake, but I think it might need to be 200 or 201. So something to look at.
On the dates. Okay.
Can you get that final date?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Can you get that final number so Christine knows what she needs to ask for?
Yeah.
We have 3 days at the beginning and 1 day in January. So I believe we're looking at 201.
Okay, I will send this back to them. I apologize. I
Okay.
thought
And
Okay. Go ahead.
we can have the discussion because we've been talking about 5 buses versus 6 buses. Like whatever you guys decide, I'm okay with. But
So my only hesitation with doing that is it's always harder to get more buses.
yeah,
I don't know, if we decide that in 2 years or 3 years we want to, expand the school a little bit at a different location, whatever that looks like. I don't want to have to go through another 2-year process just to get another bus added. So I'd rather keep it if the state is saying we can have it than get rid of it, even if there is a potential slight underutilization for a route or whatever that looks like.
okay.
So, yeah, I don't open to other thoughts, but I don't want to fight for another bus eventually if we already have the bus.
the number of buses.
So we need to verify that too. Because on one
'Cause
page
I
there
thought
was
that
like 6, on another
last-
page there was like 8.
Yeah, last year's contract showed the number of buses, but I'm not.
It is, it's down at the bottom.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But we need to verify which buses specifically, because there's too many on there.
Do you know how big it is?
It's the same issue that we had last year that you
To
want to kind
verify
of do a whole bunch of running around
Right.
because things didn't match. So 4 things for that contract that I'm going to leave you to talk to them about. The number of transportation days being 201, the number of buses and making sure that matches the buses we have, and the app for parents for the GPS, and then make sure all the cameras are in there and functional. And then I'm going to make a motion to table this one until next month.
Yeah.
And I second that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Contract. All right.
Okay.
I think that those are the ones that are over our threshold.
Okay. Did we get the JMP one?
It's not. Alexis, did you send me the JMP one?
I did. I sent it to you this afternoon to both you and Angel. So it should be in your
Okay.
You sent it to me? Oh man.
And
Today?
I could have sworn maybe I didn't hit send. Let me look.
I don't think I saw anything before I left work.
I've been looking for it. JMP and chart, and that was June 1st. June 3rd,
Oh,
power.
I didn't hit send.
I was like, oh man, I'm losing it.
I hit send right now. Sorry.
Okay.
As you're bringing that up, just something to think about. What is not on this contract is food service, director of food service. And I'd like to consider that, but what she wants to do is she would add that like as a add-on in July. So just keep that in mind.
So
Would it be helpful to table it until July then and just have it all together?
So let me read what she wrote me in text. I said, would it be like an amendment or just to the whole contract in July? She said, no, 2 separate contracts. My contract runs through ACES, but the lunch would run directly through me as a vendor.
Okay. And that one should be a pretty low
contract.
Yeah.
So you're saying we need a food service manager that works for us, not for the food service provider, for like allergies, things like that, kids who.
What I'm saying, and you guys can tell me no, but what I'm saying is that there are a lot of components to the National School Lunch Program that are on the part of the school. And Kaz helped me a lot this year, but there were still things that maybe didn't get done in a timely manner. And I'm going to be truly honest with you. I don't have the time to really do what needs to be done. I would like to do this for at least this year because as we get rid of Link, we're going to have to put new systems in place for how we track all of this stuff. And I just, my bandwidth is pretty full. So to add another task on there is, I mean, I'll do it, but it's a struggle.
No, it's okay.
And this isn't something that Genuine covers because it's not
No.
within their wheelhouse.
Right.
So we did ask about that, but that's not part of their contract for
Yeah,
what
so
this
you mean the
reporting
paperwork of
aspect.
the counts to make sure we're meeting federal regulations for the
Yeah.
number of meals and the kids are, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, for all the
Uh,
USDA reimbursements
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of
and
things.
yeah, income and all, that. Yeah, okay. So this is the contract for education services. Jen provides a ton of um special education and analysis reports that are required for us. And
Now,
right,
her last contract was like a bill as we use hours, but since this is only a quantity of one, is that still going to be a bill as we use hours, or
yes,
is it
yep,
flat?
it is. No, she estimates the total bill based on last year's performance. And then this is what her estimate is, but we could be below that. And she will only bill for billable hours.
And I think this is less than last year's because we had a lot of cleanup to do. Does anybody recall?
Last year's was 102, so this one's a
Oh.
little high.
And just kind of like as an aside, because of the budget issues, we started last year with 3 sped case managers. But because of constraints on our budget this year, we are down to 2. So they are picking up a lot of that slack that, yes, it's costing us a little more on the contract end, but we couldn't afford to hire a whole new person to do that piece. So
Right. We saved the fringe, and that fringe savings actually makes this contract lower.
yes.
So will this be enough support for SPED knowing that?
So I asked her that, and she said, hold on, we had a heck of a conversation through text messages.
Good.
I think it'll be enough because what happened was we had kind of the dumpster got lit on fire in March, and they came in and we basically worked for 3 months to put that fire out, and it was a massive amount of hours. So that intense amount of hours is in this quote because she put in kind of what we paid through May to kind of offset that. So I think we should be okay.
Okay. I mean, I think that makes sense to me. Go ahead.
I'm absolutely not a lawyer. So is this wording reflecting that because it looks like it's justifying the amount, but not putting in the possibility that it'll be less than that. It's one at a certain price.
So this isn't the actual contract. This is like an invoice that she sends us to discuss. But the contract itself, correct me if I'm wrong, Christine, goes through ACES. And they have the full verbiage of the contract within ACES that have already been agreed upon. So this is just the export of actual services tied to each. Is how I understood it last year.
Yeah, the contract is many double digits pages long. So.
And the other thing too, like even on the state reporting side, that I think that estimate is going to be high because we're only doing billable hours, but actually our person who is doing state reporting has caught on really quick. And so I don't even think that we'll use all of that money for state reporting.
No, I have no doubt of that. I'm just wondering if it shows that that's a possibility. But it's like you said, it's an invoice. It's not a contract.
Right. Yeah. We budget up to this amount in the event that we would meet that amount. But generally speaking, we've not met the amount of the contract. And she does billable by month.
Yeah.
And
somebody fill me in on that so I understand that. If you were to look at this plain and simple at the end of next year, if they hadn't done this many hours, it would reflect an invoice asking for that amount of money.
Less, yeah.
No, you might do less, but right there, it's saying that's how much we're going to give them.
No, because that was my first question. So this is the maximum amount. So it will still be billed monthly for hours utilized, not just a flat rate. This looks
Okay.
like a flat rate, but that's
It
not
does.
actually how they billed us this year. And that this was set up the same way last year when we looked at it. So we'll verify in the actual no kidding contract though that there is a by hour.
Yes. So like there are a couple of things they do. They do training, right? But like we have a person who comes on site, she bills by the hour that she's on site or any time that she's working on Explore Academy stuff. So it's not a flat fee. It's just she's billing for the time that she spends working on our stuff.
Okay. Alexis, you explained it to me because I didn't understand it last week, and I got it. I'm just saying for a person having none of that background
Mhm.
to look at that invoice 1 year from now, they could say, well, I didn't know any of that. I want
So,
all of that.
If you look
I
right,
know you trust him. I trust you for trusting him. That's fantastic. I'm just giving a viewpoint of somebody that has none of that background at all. Not that
Yeah.
I don't have any. I understand it too. I've got the background, and I trust you guys have always made great decisions. I'm just saying if there were nobody in the room that understood the things that she does and how they do them, it would look like that amount of money is due. That's all.
this is basically a purchase order for that amount of money so that it's available. And then they will bill it each month up to this purchase order amount.
Okay.
So the purchase order gets adjusted all the time.
Maybe that's in one of the other, maybe the clarification he's looking for is in one of the other attachments.
Right.
I don't
So
think
That's
I
what
have
I'm
it.
getting.
All
You
I
said
have-
you said it was a lot of pages.
I'll look at the ACES contract.
If you click to the, not on the white part of that, Christine, but off to the black side.
The black side.
Yeah, like click there. There you go. And then go back one of the like, you can look at the pricing structure or the other two attachments that are on that email under my email.
Yes, pricing. I think that was the one. Go away. Email. Here we go. Flexible service models designed to meet operational compliance.
So that kind of gives you the hours, the billable hours, all of that kind of stuff. That clarifies it a little bit. And then I think the last one is the ACES piece.
Yeah, these are the tiers in the class. Okay, and the ACES. Oh, the last one in the email.
Yes.
What is wrong?
There it is.
Here's the entire contract.
Obviously not going through all that.
No. So they submit a purchase order to ACES and ACES monitors their vendor status with the state. We do. So so it's like a purchase order that has a big amount, and then we pull off of that all month long through ACES. And then the payment through them.
And it shows up on the check register as they're hourly and they're flat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Just hourly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think how we phrased this last year when we were looking at this one specifically was we approved the contract up to the amount on there, knowing that it may not be the full amount.
Yeah, prices of list cannot be exceeded, contractor participating.
Yeah,
This
I
is
got.
ACES.
I understand. Yeah. We're not going to pay more than that. I get we're not going to pay more than.
Yeah, but Terry's saying that's not what we're paying for everything.
No.
It looks like
I'm just saying if somebody could ask for more than they did. That's all. It's just the way the invoice reads. They could say this is what's due.
Yeah.
And this in here in the contract shows that's not true. And that's not the way they've been doing historically. So
Yeah.
I'm clear. I'm good.
Okay, any other discussion on this one? Alexis, you good? Other than the extra piece?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make a motion then to approve the JMP contract as was presented, with the understanding that there will be a follow-on separate contract for food services. Not food services, food management. So
Food
scratch
service.
that part. Scratch that part. I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna amend my motion. Right, Sam? I can do this. I can amend my motion to only be for that we're going to approve this JMP contract up to the amount that was on that PO.
42,000.
142,000.
I'll second that move.
Okay. Sam, can you do a quick roll call?
Christine,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Violetta,
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Your motion carried.
Perfect. Okay. And then the other two on there don't meet the cap, so we'll talk about those at a later time, potentially at our
Okay.
next finance meeting, or we'll just have a
Can
discussion.
can we review the list of what has to be discussed next meeting?
So right now it's just Herrera is the only one that is going to be the over 60,000 that still is outstanding. All the other ones are less than 60,000, so Alexis can sign them once we have a discussion to make sure they're what we want.
What the school needs.
Mhm.
Thought my limit was 20,000.
Okay, I'll sign them.
Okay. I don't know. I thought that's what it was.
I asked Josh what the threshold was, and he told me 60,000
Okay.
before it needs board approval. I'll sign them. If it's over 20,000, I'll sign them. But
Okay.
but yeah, we'll have a discussion on those smaller ones in the finance meeting, or probably finance meeting for next time. So okay. Any other contract related things that were on this list? Okay. Let's move on real quick. Talk about the volunteer policy. Sam, do you want to pull up what you had sent earlier? Or I don't even know where it's at this point.
Violetta sent a version. Did you get that one? Okay.
Yep. So, that one, Violetta, you want to explain what you did real quick?
Yes. So, with the support of Gemini AI, I asked it to align what we had with New Mexico law, and it came back and it gave some suggestions, and I thought that they made sense. The volunteer policy that we have right now isn't very specific as to the type of volunteer, the type of oversight that the volunteer would do. And it recommended that we include like a pledge or I'd have to look at the policy. I don't have it up right now. But I thought it made sense just because it broke it down and it was a little bit more clear. And it also specified that we could terminate their volunteer services. Like we don't have to accept them to continue to volunteer if they're not meeting certain standards. So the first contract or policy didn't have that. In the one that I sent, amended or added, to the policy. Yeah, that's it. So, the definition of regular, the second bullet, regular versus spontaneous volunteers, because when you have a special, speaker, a guest speaker, they're considered a volunteer, so it kind of just breaks it down. code of ethics and volunteer pledge was added, and the process of dismissal. So I thought they made sense, and I am hoping that we can see if we can combine them into one.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I do know that Sam and Alexis and Fred were also working on something with this. So Sam, if you wouldn't mind, or Alexis, giving us a rundown of what you guys have already put together. I think some of those suggestions are in what they were doing already. Maybe not all of them, but I'll turn it over to you, Sam. Or
Okay.
Alexis. Don't know.
So I think some of what Violetta was talking about has been incorporated. I know Alexis and Fred have been working on an employment packet. And so the employment packet, the administrative code that like outlines what needs to happen when people enter a building, it's employees and volunteers, right? And so when I spoke to Fred today, we talked about just like expanding the packet so that there is a brief application for volunteers. And that we've added that language into the policy. Let me just share my screen so I'm not just kind of rambling and you have something to look at. Can you see this okay?
Yep.
And so we talked about creating a packet, and then from the packet is essentially where, you know, they'll meet with Alexis, the head administrator, or a designee that she assigns to meet with people to, you know, figure out their interest, right? And then, you know, if you deem that you would like to move forward with this person, then they would move forward with the background check and all of that stuff, right? But there would be a bit of a process that would be procedurally outlined in a packet, right? Doesn't need to be in your policy, but just outlining what like how people can become volunteers.
Yeah, and I think Violetta, when I was rereading through what you and Jim and I were working on, it teeters a little bit on the procedure part rather than the policy part. And knowing that we're going to do a very specific procedure in the employee packet.
The
So what we called it. Okay.
It would be a volunteer, it would be like a sub piece of that, like a volunteer
Okay.
packet.
Then I think that's the part where you define all the different types of volunteers and you outline very specifics in the process. But I'm not sure we have to change this policy a whole lot to meet the intent. So like that last whole page you had added in yours, I think that belongs in the packet, not in the policy. Go ahead, Sam.
The one thing I was just going to say is that I do think, now that I've heard, you know, while Violetta was speaking, it may be worse because it says in here, upon successful completion of the background investigation and mandatory training, the volunteer will be approved to work at the school at the sole discretion of the head administrator. I don't think it is terrible to put a sentence in there that says like, you know, they can also be terminated at any time. But they're not really being terminated because they're volunteers.
Right. I do think we need to find a way to put that in there somehow.
They could be relieved of their volunteer status.
Revoke.
Yeah,
Revoke.
I can ask for like a sentence, like, you know, I could do a little brainstorming and ask for a sentence of how we capture that in here. So you could approve it tonight, you know, with the contingent upon the, you know, addition of a like removal clause or something.
Okay. Violetta, would you be okay if more of what you put in there, like that last page, which I did really like, goes into the packet instead of going into the policy?
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to offer some support, and you know, I didn't know where it went, so I didn't realize that somebody else was already working on it, and I probably wouldn't have, you know,
You're good.
try to send any more information. So
You're good. I didn't
yes.
realize either until after you had sent this to me, and then I sent it to Sam, and I was like, oh, hey, lots of people are working on this. So, yeah, I think that'll be good. Let's keep the comments that you had created more geared towards the packet. I think this is fine. I like having kind of the pre-approval process that sits with Alexis or her designee, and then I like have the removal clause that will get added. But otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward. Any other comments? No. Okay. I will make a motion then to approve the volunteer policy as Sam had up on her screen, with the contingent upon a removal clause being added to the policy before it gets published.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Okay. Perfect. All right, that one closes that out. So look forward to seeing what you come up with, Alexis, you and Fred, for the rest of your packet. Should be fun. Okay. Board comments. I did say I was going to defer our so the question asked earlier about Fred and HR for the board comments real quick. Do we want to continue on any of that question? Are we utilizing Fred next year in his current capacity?
I think that if we can get another grant, absolutely.
We'll still shoot for it.
Yeah.
And even if we don't get a grant, I think that would be something I would be willing to fight Josh about for funding for it, because having an HR person is a necessity at this point, not just a nicety.
Yes.
So, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Could you use one of the PEC grants?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That's what we used for his contract this year. So I will apply again for that. I think we had 2 PEC grants.
There's
One
one
for-
sport specific, and then
Yes.
there's one for school. And so I bet he could
Yes.
use for the school one for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's what we used him for, because we used the other one for CPO training, which we're going to try for again as soon as that opens, I think the beginning of July. So I have both of those on my radar to apply for as soon as they come out. So, okay. Terry, did you have any more questions on that one? Are you good with that answer?
Oh yeah, that was the answer.
Okay, perfect. Only other board comment I think I have for the group is Ray Gomez put in his resignation for being part of the board yesterday, effective immediately. So we are now down to 5 board members. So Violetta, I know you had done some work on outreach, we'll say, for new board members. Can we send that again or do something with that again to see if we get any more traction? Because we didn't really the first time around, and I don't want to get too low on board members.
Yeah, I'll see who else I can contact and send it out
Okay.
to them. Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody knows anybody who might be interested in being on the school board, please have them contact me or Christine, or Violetta. If you want to put yourself as a POC, that's fine too. And then I'll try to get that position replaced. Yes, ma'am.
We'll have to do a notification to the PEC, and so during the July meeting, we'll have to have an agenda item where you move to accept his resignation.
Yeah.
We just
Okay, make
did.
myself a note.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was too late to be on this agenda.
Okay. All right, made myself a note. Other than that, I think we've finished out this school year really strong. Super proud of all of us and all the work that the staff has done, that our students have done, and the place we are now compared to where we were a year ago. We have done great things, and I think it will only get better. Anybody else have board comments? Okay. I'm gonna say public comment. We're opening public comment for 2 minutes, even though there's nobody else in the audience. So we're gonna close public comment with no public comment. So the next meeting will be July 8th at 6 p.m. This one will still be solely online. We will start the hybrid in August. So I will adjourn this meeting at 8:12, and I thank you all for your participation tonight and hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Good night.